Hello and thank you for joining. I'm Andrei Panko and I will be doing demos for you. In this release, we continue our investment in warehouse and inventory management areas, both done by internal R&D team, but I also would like to mention the community contributions. Many features are added by community members via GitHub, and you can find all details in the release notes entries, including text descriptions and screenshots. But for some features, I would like to do demos. And we will be doing demos for some warehouse improvements. In the release notes, you might find these articles, and probably the third one is the most obvious one to understand what it's doing. For others, you might be curious. And let's do demo and get some clarity. Now in Business Central, let's start by exploring location cards. Let's go to the location list, find the favorite silver location which is added by Contoso demo data app here, and explore what we have. The biggest changes you can notice in the warehouse tab. You can still see the require, receive, ship, put away, and pick toggles are there, but now they are limited only to purchase, sales, service, and transfer operations, while internal operations such as production, assembly, and jobs got own configuration options, and it's not toggles, but actual drop-downs with different options where you can select various combinations. For example, you can disable warehouse handling or have a different flavors. And what I did here, I configured all different options. For example, for sales orders, I will be doing shipments, but receiving will be done via put away. In production, I don't want to use any warehouse handling because I will be using movement worksheet to transfer stuff out of warehouse. And then I have a warehouse pick in some scenarios and inventory picks for jobs. Let's explore in action. But before that, I will scroll down to the bin policy tab. This tab still has the same fields or almost the same fields, but with each release, more of them are getting available to the basic warehouse configurations. You don't need to use directed pick and put away to benefit from special equipment, bin capacity policy, or warehouse class, which were added in the previous release. Or now you can also use put away templates when assigning bins where items should be located, or bin ranking. Now put away template is available, and if you decided not to use default bin, which was available before, but switch to put away templates, you can pick default one. All right. Let's go to different documents and see how it works. Let's start by purchase orders. I will find my order. And as you remember, I decided to use inventory putaways. So I have two items here, and let's create inventory putaway. Okay. All good. Now navigate to create a document. Couple of clicks, and we're here. What do we see? We see that for one item we received 3 lines instead of 1 in the past, which would be default bin. And for the last one we received nothing. Why? Because each item is configured to use different put-away templates. And I decided to use standard template for item number 1. But for put-away for another item, I decided to try something different. Let me show you details of this template, how they are configured. So the standard one, which is also included into the product and part of the Contoso demo data, it's pretty complicated, and it tries, first of all, fill up bins which already contains items, and if it fails, then it tries to find the next best bin accordingly to the rules. But I also have a simplified scenario when I allow system to propose bins only if these bins already contain some stock. And if not, it stops. That's why we have a different results. For example, first item, we needed 80, but if we take a look at the bin content list, we can see that this item is already available in warehouse. It's available in a couple of bins, and they have some quantity, but they also have some max quantity restrictions. So system just added missing quantity there, and for remaining, it finds the best bin it could using bin ranking. The last one, no, this item is not available currently, so we cannot find the existing bin. That's why we decided to delegate this work to warehouse employee, who will decide where to store this item in specific scenario. So you can use different approaches. All right, so I selected the bin which fits best, but also I noticed that instead of 80, I received 85. So let's add over received quantity. Yeah, over received quantity is now also available in the inventory put away, in addition to warehouse receipts before. So now you are not restricted, at least by this parameter, on which document to use. All right, that was a small side story. Now we go to the Rolodex Center, and now we will explore sales orders. So we have sales order, and let's create warehouse shipment. Okay, warehouse shipment created. It does not require me to create peak, because it's configured so I can just go and ship stuff if I have inventory available. Let's go to different document, and in this case it will be release production order. Production orders configured to use warehouse peaks. Let's click warehouse peak. OK. And it was created. Now let's navigate to created peak and explore what is there. Oh, so many lines. Why? We needed 30, and they are unfortunately not available in a single bin. It's available in 3 different bins, 10 in each. And these bins have a different ranking. So that's why they have a special code, so it will be easier to illustrate. But the highest ranking, 30, is on this bin, then medium, and the lowest in this bin. And system proposed to do picking accordingly. First, from bin with the highest rank, regardless of its code, then the next one, the final one. So actually, picking by ranking is also available with inventory picks. Let's explore. This functionality or this type of picking is enabled for jobs, as we configured our location. Let's open the job card. We can see multiple job tasks and choose create inventory pick. We need to activate create inventory pick. Also, I would like to add a separate filter job task line, because I would like to limit the scope of created pick only to components listed under first job task, because it's a long project and probably I don't need to get inventory for other tasks, for other milestones. I can also use a date. This capability, these filtering capabilities were added in the previous release, but I think it makes sense to show it here. Okay, I created one inventory pick. Let's navigate and open this pick. The same story. So we are picking from 3 different bins because it is available there. So the same story about picking first from the bin with the highest rank, because our location configured this way. All right. So picking by ranking is available in both warehouse and inventory pick. Let's go to, for example, assembly order and do some additional check. In this case, assembly order requires warehouse picking. I will create warehouse pick. I click OK, and I got this nothing to handle error, which is not really useful. So, how do we deal with it in basic warehouse? Let me demonstrate you something, but first I will show you one of my favorite client features added into this release. It's a show details, which allows me to navigate directly to the card. Let me scroll down, and you can see that always create pick line is disabled, but it is available even for basic warehouse configurations. I will activate it. And now when I click create warehouse pick, I got pick created. And if we will open this pick, we can see that it has a take and place instruction, and bin code is empty. Of course, system didn't find an item to find, but we know that it is available. and it is available in the bin which is for some reason marked as dedicated. But I know that I want to take this stuff here. So I'm making decision, and I'm accepting to take stuff from this bin code. So at least I was able to unblock myself and move further. Let's register it. All good. Yeah, available inventory. All right. That was for basic warehouse, but it is also transition to the next topic, because nothing to handle error is displayed quite often in our, as we can see in our telemetry. Let's see, and it's not easy to troubleshoot. And we did some improvement, mainly focused for locations with directed pick and put away configuration enabled. Let's take a look. I have multiple, actually two. I have two warehouse shipments created in a white location, and let's open it and click Create Pick. Yeah, not very useful. Not very useful, but then I will try to create pick again, and in this case I will activate the Show Summary toggle. It also notifies you that it's only for directed put away and pick mode. So do not try it on other configurations. And what do we see here? We get the same error message, it's on top, but we also receive additional details. We got the full troubleshooting window where we have multiple conceptually place for multiple lines. In this case, I'm dealing with only one item, that's why I have one line. And I see quantity, which I wanted to pick, I needed one. And how many I managed to handle? Nothing. Why? This information we can get from the summary part, which is added here, because pickable quantity is 0. In the advanced warehouse with directed put away and pick, the warehouse is split into different zones, and only one of them contains items which can be picked for shipment or, for example, for future consumption. So that's called pickable one. And how do we calculate them? You can see that in general in warehouse I have 10 items. I can explore ledger entries, that's not super useful, but I can go and explore bin content. It will also show me how these 10 are distributed. And yes, I have a lot in my warehouse in different bins. 9 of them pieces are in the pickable bins, but unfortunately it is either blocked or dedicated, means it has a very specific purpose and not for picking, or both, and dedicated and blocked. And I also have one thing, one piece outstanding in the receive bin. So it's very easy for me to get unblocked. I need to find the put away document and process it. For some reason it was not processed, but at least I know whom to ask for help with getting unblocked. Before it was more complicated to troubleshoot, now it is shorter. What about more complicated scenarios? Of course I have them. Let's scroll to the different warehouse shipment. It has 2 items, different types of items to demonstrate different scenarios. Let's click Create Pick. And I already know that I would like to show summary. Okay, in this situation you can see that for the first line we managed to pick 0, but for the second line something can be picked. But let's take a look at the details. First of all, here it's interesting to notice that pickable bins, actually we have something. If I will drill down, I can get bin content on pickable bins where dedicated toggle is disabled and there is no blocking of outbound movements. So like this is very good bin and it has some quantity which theoretically could be picked. But this item has item tracking. If I scroll down, I can see that this item has item tracking defined. And this specific item has a serial number information card with blocked field enabled. So basically I cannot use this item because it's blocked. And I get this information again right here. So I just need to find this item, figure it out why it is blocked, maybe unblock it if necessary, and also unblock myself. Let's take a look at the next line. This is a more complicated scenario because now it involves reservation, and reservation has some impact. So what do we want? We want to pick 4. And how many do we have in warehouse? 4. So kind of like, what's the problem? Yeah. Problem is that there are some other orders which also needs to be picked, shipped, consumed, etc. And they have a high priority. Why? Because they are reserved. So this one is not reserved, so it has no less priority than others. So in this case, we should not make orders with a high priority, which are reserved, should not make them impossible to ship. It's okay to make it difficult to ship, but not impossible. Let me explain. So while we have a total quantity in warehouse 10, 4 are in pickable bins, which can be picked, shipped right away. But we also have 6 somewhere else. Where do we have them? We have 4 in pickable bins, as we already know, but we also have 4 in a put-away bin. So it's like a different storage, which requires movement if necessary. So we consider this quantity to be something which we need to compare with reservations. So 8 is potentially can be used. Yeah, it requires some additional actions. For example, if it's in put away, it's in receipt bin, then you need to process put away. If it's in bulk storage bin, you need to move it into pickable bins, but it can be done. That's why it is okay to take stuff from the pickable bin for some other bins, unless we still have something in the warehouse which can be shipped for reserved. So what about reservation situation? Yeah, we reserved 8 we reserve for this sales order, which sounds like, okay, then 100% is reserved. Not really. Because out of this 8 reserved, we already picked. So means this stuff is already moved to the shipping bin, and it's so it can be deducted. So out of this 8, we can deduct 2 which already prepared for shipping. It's not that trivial, I understand. Stay with me. But we have also tooltips which try to explain how the stuff is calculated. So for example, let's go to the last one, impact. And here we explain that potentially shippable from warehouse is 8. It's like everything which is in warehouse except in the shipment bin, because shipment bin or dedicated bin, which is like already like almost loaded to the truck, so like forget about them. But potentially shippable 8, okay, here. But we also have reservation, except reservations which are already like shipped, so reservation. Then we compare these 2, and this delta is what we can take for other non-reserved orders. So in this case, the delta is 2, so that's why we're adjusting pickable quantity from 4 to 2, and this is how quantity is defined. I have the same text written form in the release note, and we're also, of course, updating the documentation, probably with more fancy schemas. All right, so in this case, I have 2. So system already created peak for 2. How can I get unblocked if I really need to pick this stuff? So I have 2 options. I either reserve this sales order, then reserved against reserved. There is no prioritization conflict, so this one can be processed directly, or I will go and cancel reservation, because I decided that it is okay to do. We will buy more stuff later for this specific order. It is okay. We explored, we confirmed. Now I can close this window and run create peak again. Let's activate it again. For the second run, you can see that the first line still nothing changed because we still blocked and we didn't take any action. But the second line, we had 2 remaining to be picked, and they can be picked. So all good with this line. So what we figured it out in this demonstration, that first of all, now you do not need to use directed pick if a customer or user requires some warehouse capabilities. First of all, you can implement it for different departments individually. It's like, okay, let's start with a shipping team because they are most ready, and do not touch manufacturing or jobs, etc. Or you can use different policies. For example, here we're using shipping, here we use inventory peaks, etc. And different combinations, all good. And also, even if we're using the basic warehouse, we still can benefit from advanced capabilities like put-away templates, picking by ranking, and also allow or do not allow creation of lines in pick and put-away documents if there are some problems. Means we allow or do not allow warehouse employee or warehouse manager to solve problems by themselves, so giving them some control. Also, we have ability to receive more than ordered, also using inventory put-away, together with a direct update of a purchase document or warehouse receipt. This unblocks you and doesn't impact your decision about which process you need to use, because all of them supporting over receipt. And if you decided to use directed put-away and pick warehouses, now you need to spend dramatically less time analyzing the nothing to handle situation, because you can get more insights from the special troubleshooting window, which gives you all details right away. So, if you're interested in warehouse session, probably you're also interested in another technology, like its barcode scanning capabilities, and we have something to present for you. So take a look at the session about mobile apps. Also, take a look at the session reservation worksheet and fulfillment suggestions. It's about reservation and inventory, so it also might be interesting. I would like also to mention the list of valuable resources. Start with submit your ideas. If you have something to say about missing functionality, votes there and ideas there really matters. We have a more detailed discussion in a different forum. It's also available for partners. It's a first link in this resource. It's Yammer. Feel free to join and participate in the design discussions or get information about like what's and how it's getting to be implemented. And because it's only few out of our different links, we have one link to link them all. It's BC all, aka.ms. Go there, explore what we have there. And so thank you, and let's stay in touch. Join Yammer. Let's talk there.